Hey friend, just a heads up that I made this episode also as a video. I put it up on my YouTube channel as I reference in here some visual aids to help you learn the material a little bit better. So if you get an opportunity, head on over to my YouTube channel and the link is in the description. All right, let's get to it. Welcome to Above Par. I'm your host, Kathy Hartwood. I show you how to take more of your talent to the golf course without practicing harder, taking more lessons, or buying new equipment. I show you how to end the frustration of underperforming so you can start playing to your potential. This is where you are going to learn how to think above par so you can play below par. Let's get to it. Hello, my friend, and welcome back to Above Par. I am super excited to do this episode because coming off of Phil's amazing win at the PGA Championship this past week, there was so much conversation about visualization, his glasses, and what he was doing to try and stay in that state, which I talk about all the time on how you want to figure out that best state that you play in and how you can get there and stay there as much as possible. So I wanted to take this opportunity to talk about visualization and how you can do it, how it works for you in your golf game, why you even want to do it, and give you a couple different tactics that you can try so that you can start using visualization for you and your golf game on the course and see if it helps you perform a little bit better. So let's talk about what visualization is. And I brought out visuals so that it'll help you learn a little bit more. So visualization is by definition, just a formation of mental imagery. It's just you picturing something in your mind. It also can be seen as seeing a goal is already complete in your mind's eye. So if you're not used to visualizing, if you're not used to using that tool that you have, using your senses and picturing something in your head, you want to start practicing this off the golf course. I'm going to show you ways to do that before you go on and jump on the golf course and try and do it. I think maybe Phil played a little bit slow. I'm just saying it seemed that way. I wasn't there. I don't know if he was way behind the next group, but he was definitely taking his time. So if you go out on the golf course and you've never done this before, you might be a little bit frustrated or discouraged that you're not able to picture the shot or picture what you're actually supposed to be doing in your head. So I'm going to show you ways that you can do this off the golf course first and start taking it onto the golf course for you. So this is some of the advantages of using visualization. One is that it improves motivation, coordination, and concentration, right? We all want that, of course, on the golf course, a big advantage. It also aids in relaxation and reducing fear and anxiety. I teach my clients that using visualization as one of your cues, one of your senses, helps get you out of, I call it the back of your brain, the hamster brain, where we have all those thoughts going on, and gets us back up into the front of our brain where we can focus and concentrate a little bit more, where we can reduce that fear and anxiety. You could definitely see that Phil was trying to do that, especially on the 18th hole when people were jumping on his back and the crowd was around. You could watch him really slowing down his breathing, which is one of your senses, and also his visualization, right? You can notice that he was really trying to keep himself very calm, keep that anxiety and stress, whatever he was feeling for himself, really low so that he could stay in his preferred state, which I'm sure is something along the lines of calm, certain, or confident, which is what I talk about. I do not know because I do not know Phil and what he was going through, but we could kind of tell in that moment there was a lot that he could have been definitely anxious about with the crowd and all that energy going on. So I encourage my clients to use visualization and use their touch senses, use their hearing senses to help bring you back to the front of your brain. So let's talk about some of the studies that have been done, which I think is just so amazing. And this is another thing that you can do to help you or to use visualization with your golf game. So one of them done by Harvard is the piano exercise, which there was a 5-finger piano exercise that they were doing a study where they were measuring how much of the motor cortex changed. I'm not neuroscience. And they used this coil mechanism that sent a magnetic pulse through their brain and measured how much that area of the brain had grown. So one of the groups actually practiced the piano for a certain amount of time. I don't have that information actually. And then the other group just visualized practicing the piano, did not do it with their hands, nothing. They just closed their eyes and visualized practicing the piano. And what they found was that both groups, whether they actually physically did the practicing the piano or they visualized themselves practicing the piano, both of them had a lot of growth around that cortex that they wanted, that with that muscle memory part of their brain that they wanted to measure. It was called muscle memory. It was just their motor cortex, right? Pretty amazing. Like you can actually practice and learn the piano without touching keyboards. I think that would be my way to go. The other study, which is another famous study, is the basketball free throws. That was out of the University of Chicago. And that, what they did was they had 3 groups that they used. One didn't do anything, didn't practice free throws. The other group practiced free throws for 30 minutes for 30 days straight. And the other group came to the basketball court and sat with their eyes closed and visualized themselves shooting free throws. They started this study by just first having everybody shoot a series of free throws. I think it was a wide variety of talents. It wasn't like that was basketball players. And then they measured their skill afterwards. And they had 24% of the people who actually shot the fruit had a 24% increase from the people who actually shot free throws and 23% increase with the people who actually just visualized it. That's amazing. So what does that mean for you? How can you take that information and use it for your golf game? Well, I would tell you that you could do that by making a bunch of putts. Or if you're in your head, right, visualize yourself making those clutch putts. Visualize yourself making a bunch of 3-footers and 4-footers and 5-footers. Visualize the curve on putts and making it. If you struggle with a certain shot, maybe it's a bunker shot, repeat that shot in your head over and over, visualizing yourself having that success, picturing the outcome that you want. Whatever the shot is for you that you struggle with, this is something that you can use on making that perfect swing. How about if you're, not that there is a perfect swing, but making your ideal swing? How about if you're making a swing change and you're trying to get comfortable? Picture yourself making that move, whether you're changing your takeaway or you're changing a position at the top of your swing. Repeat visualizing yourself in that position. I think this is super powerful for you to use on a golf course, especially with short shots around the greens or any shots that you're struggling with. Okay, so how are you going to use this? So one, just like I said, I want you to try and start visualizing things at home so that you can practice it first before you go out onto the golf course. Picture yourself hitting shots at home, close your eyes, practice it. Picture yourself playing a hole or picture yourself playing in a tournament and picture yourself going through the whole round or through certain holes. Maybe you have a nemesis hole that you're struggling to really feel comfortable with when you're actually on the golf course. Picture yourself standing there and feeling very comfortable. The first tee, right? Maybe you have first tee jitters. Picture yourself and visualize yourself teeing off and hitting the ideal drive that you would like. Same thing with finishing the round, right? Practice at home first. You might find that it's going to take you a couple seconds before your brain will kind of jump back and get a little noisy, and just bring it back around, redirect it so it comes back to really trying to picture that shot. Then you want to be able to take that out onto the golf course, right? Start visualizing shots on the course when you're out there. So what does that look like? That means that you're going to stand over the ball and you're going to visualize whether you're going to hit a draw, where you want it to land, picture how it's going to bounce when it hits the green. On a chip shot, picture where you want it and visualize where you want it to land and how much you want it to roll out. Picture the curve after it starts rolling out towards the pin. Picture as much and visualize as much of that shot as you possibly can, the trajectory of the shot, right? How the wind influences it, right? Super powerful to do that. You can also picture yourself just and visualize yourself playing the actual hole. You're going to get on the par 4, par 3, par 5, doesn't matter. You're going to stand there and picture yourself, like all the steps that it's going to take all the way up until you finish that hole. Start small. If you can do a couple of them, just a couple shots here or there, and you're going to build up this skill. Then also what I want to suggest you do is I want you to visualize you. Go to the future of who you want to be as a golfer. What is your goal? Do you want to be someone who wins a tournament, wins a club championship, plays in college, plays in bigger, national events? Picture yourself in that role. Picture yourself playing in that tournament, winning the tournament, scoring well. everything, right? You want to really put yourself into a future situation that you want to be in. Let it be created in your mind, right? So that your brain will kind of get to work to figure out how to get that accomplished for you. So that when it happens, you're like, have you ever heard people on TV going, I pictured this all along. I knew I'd exactly be here. I pictured this whole moment of playing in this tournament. There was one of the kids who played in the Masters, that I'm gonna mess up his name because Xander just came to our name, but you know who I'm talking about. He pictured himself in that whole situation, right? So you want to picture yourself where you're going to be down the road. Who do you want to be? How do you want to show up as the golfer that you want to picture yourself as? So this is the way that you want to do it. You want to use as many senses as possible. So you're going to not only use your eyes and visualize it and see the shot, I want you to also feel it, feel the wind on your body, feel what your body needs to feel like to hit that shot. That's where you're going to be able to translate it to your swing. So you want to use as many of your senses as you possibly can. The other way is that I want you to try it with your eyes open and your eyes closed. So you want to be able to have both of those skills. I think it's a little easier to start with your eyes closed, right? So you cut out a lot of distractions, and as you build that up, see if you can do it with your eyes open. The other thing is you want to be consistent. Do it every day. Practice it every day. It doesn't take long. You're just going to practice for a couple seconds on different shots. Build up that skill, and it'll become easier and easier for you to do on the golf course, right? So you don't have to sit there and go, like 10 minutes trying to visualize a shot, because we don't have that time and that luxury on the golf course. So definitely practice at home and be consistent. And this is the other thing that is beautiful about using visualization. I'm going to give you a different cue. I had talked about how it helps quiet your fears and anxieties. So one of these tactics is you're using it to visualize your end result. You're using it to visualize your shot. Visualize who you want to be as a golfer, how you want to show up. Picture yourself getting the trophy and signing that scorecard and shooting that score. But you can also use visualization to help you quiet your mind at any given moment when it starts chattering too much. And you can do that by using any of your senses. I teach my clients that you can rub your fingertips together so slowly that you feel all the grooves on your fingers. Run your fingers across the palm of your hand slowly enough that you feel everything. So we're using our touch here. You can takes on the golf course to practice visualization. Let's say if you had a couple of minutes between shots, maybe pick a tree and look at the tree with such intensity and detail that you've never looked at it before. Instead of seeing a blob of green and brown, you're going to look at it and look at the leaves and look at the texture and look at the movement. When you do that, you bring your brain out of the back where all that drama is and that fear and the anxiety, and you're going to feel it switch back up into the front of your brain where you're going to be able to focus and concentrate. It's a beautiful tactic to do if you get a little chatty with your brain or you're feeling your fear and anxiety coming up. You want to redirect your brain. It might go back there, just keep redirecting it. Start looking at something. The other thing you can do is listen, right? Listen for things. Just you can stand on the golf course and listen for the furthest thing that you can hear on the golf course and just stay there for a second and then bring it back and listen to the thing that you can hear that's closest to you, which often is your own breathing. You could also do it with smell, right? Maybe you can smell different things on the golf course, whether it's fertilizers or water or the grass being freshly cut. It brings your brain back and it gets you to focus and concentrate. So listen, this is what I teach my clients. I teach people on how to perform better on the golf course. I help them manage their thoughts and their emotions around the game of golf so they can take more of their talent on the golf course. This is one of the tools that I teach them is visualization. And if you want to learn more, you want to jump on a call with me and let's talk about how you can play better. So start small, stay consistent, start using it on the golf course and see how you can get your body into that position that you want to be in so that you can make your best swings. All right, you got this.